Hey guys, going to start pretty simple for my first tutorial. We're just going to mess around with some buttons and make them go from one page to another, just like this. Make a button to go back to the first page, make a button that you can change the label to, and or I guess the title label I should say, that's what it's actually called, and change the color. So for this one I made it red, and I also made it bold, so I kind of manipulated the font. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll just create a new file. You can see I'm running it here, so we're just gonna go ahead and pretty much do the same exact thing. So new project, this is a single view application. Go ahead, call it button tutorial, and we're gonna just make it for iPhone, not mess around with iPad or make it universal. So simple there. Go ahead and put it in that folder. First, make sure that our simulator is running on a 4-inch screen, so that we have some more room to work with when we're on the simulator. So we'll go ahead and drag it over to this window. So what do we got? We got a storyboard, got some app delegate files that we're not going to mess around with, and our view controller files, our header and implementation files. So where we declare all of our objects, and then where we are going to write the code and make their actions actually happen. So jump into our storyboard where we're going to build the app. So we have our first view controller, which is going to be our first page, and our second view controller. So this is our initial one. You can see the arrow. If we click on here, you see initial scene is initial. So there you go. It's gone. And now it's back. So that's where it's going to go first. This is our second view controller. We need to connect these two with some buttons. So what I'm going to do is place a button here. Call that next. Center it. And go ahead on this one and center it. Let's call it back. Okay. Actually, I'm going to throw it up here because we're going to have the other buttons. Okay, so now we have two buttons, and what we have to do is declare each of these buttons. Okay, so first, I want to make this view controller have its own implementation and header file and implementation file so that the code is separated and we keep everything clean. So to create a second set of files over here, we just right-click, New File, Objective-C class, and we're just going to call it ViewController2. Okay, and it was a subclass of UIButtons. Okay, so here it is. There are the files. Just drop them down here, and now we have to make sure that this piece on the storyboard is going to listen to these two files. So what we do is make sure that we're zoomed out, and we click on this view controller, and we go to the custom class inspector, and now this is where we say which files it's going to listen to. So there's the one that we just created, ViewController2. You see it pops up down here, so all good there. Okay, so now you can see we have a warning here. It's because we have a view controller that can't be reached if we run the program right now. So we have to connect them. So first, we'll implement this button, this first button, and we're going to go to our header file where we declare it. So create some room. Easiest way to do it is just hold down Control, click, and drag, and it writes all the code for you. So this is going to be the next button, okay? And we want it to perform an action, so we actually have to select action here. And touch up inside means when you touch down inside of these bounds, which I actually made it a little bit bigger so that there's a little less room for air. Touch down, and then when you lift up inside of the bounds, then it's going to activate. So that's what we want. So there you go. And now to connect it from this view controller to that view controller, we hold down Control again, click and drag. So the segues are push, modal, and custom. I don't mess around with custom quite yet. Modal means that it's going to go from this view controller to this one without really creating any memory or any way to go back without using another button. Push is when we're using a navigation controller. So that's when there's going to be a little toolbar up here, like in your mail app on your phone where you're going to have like a little icon up here with the back arrow to go back to that view controller. So for now we're just going to use modal. It's pretty simple. And now we're going to go ahead and do the same thing for this button. So go ahead and click over here, go to our view controller 2 header file, declare it inside here. Control, drag, back button, and action. So I should actually get in the habit of switching it to action before I type it in because I'll make it an outlet a lot. But so go ahead, connect it there, and now we control drag over, and we're going to do modal as well. So just to make these view controllers look a little bit more different, we're going to go to the attributes. Double click in so that we're on the view. And we're going to go to attributes and just change the color background to light gray so that it's a little bit easier to notice the difference. So if we run it right now, as is, and I need to quit this one out. Okay. So if we go ahead and run. Next, okay, back, beautiful. Okay, everything works. Now let's make our other buttons. So what we're going to do is, here's a neat trick. Hold down Option, click, and drag, and it copies the button. So let's do the same thing. So now we have our other 2 buttons. Make this text change and color change. Okay. So now we have to declare them in the header file just the same way. So, whoops. I held down Option by accident. So, control drag. It's an action. It's a button. So, change text. Okay. And change color. Okay. Connect. Okay. Now, if we went as is, we would have a little bit of difficulty with the code because we need to make outlets for these buttons to actually make the text and font accessible in the implementation file. So what we do is do the same thing. Control, drag over here, and this is what we're going to leave it as outlet. Okay. Change text. Just going to name it the same thing. And change color. Okay, so now we can access the title label inside. So now we're going to go into our implementation files where we're going to write the code for where these buttons are called. So you click on the button, it's going to come right to this action right here. So on the change text file, what we want to do is call a method. So we're going to call our underscore change text. Okay, you have to put an underscore there to call out for this weak variable or weak object. So outlet, excuse me, and then we're going to set the title, okay, to text has changed. Okay. For UI control state, all I did is hit tab there. It goes to the next next option. So UI control state normal. Okay, stick with that. End up the method, and that should be all complete. Okay, all done there. Now changing the colors. So let's call another method, but this time it's going to be, oops, we need to change color, okay, and we are going to set the tint color to, and we can't just put red color, we have to say, okay, it's going to be a UI color, red color. Okay, good there. Okay, and then if we wanted to actually change the font size, go change color, title label dot font equals, sorry, UI font, and if we want to make it bold, we go bold system font of whatever size that we want to make it. So we'll just make it 15. That's what it is right now, so we'll just leave it that way so it doesn't change up too much. But that's everything. So if we run it, we should get what I showed you at the start of this tutorial. Let's see what we got. Next. Okay, that works. Back button works. Text change. Text has changed. So I didn't give it enough area for that to actually write all the way out. But you can actually select an option in here so that it adjusts with the size of the text. But so obviously it has changed, so it worked. And color change. So the bold actually made this get a little bit bigger, so that's why it didn't work. So let me just make it wider so that everything fits and run it one more time just so that you can see everything worked perfectly fine. Here it is. Text change, color change. Okay. Well, that's everything. I hope you guys learned something. I'm still learning this whole coding thing, and just bear with me in the process. I figured I'd make some tutorials just to help others along the way that are in the same boat as me. So I hope you learned something, and come back for more when I post some more videos. So later.